Hello and welcome to the Retirement Planning Podcast, your trusted source for navigating the path to a secure retirement. Your host and guide on this journey towards financial peace of mind is Darrin McComas. On this show, we'll delve into everything you need to know about retirement planning, from investment strategies and risk management to maximizing your Social Security benefits and crafting a resilient financial plan using the bucket plan financial process. Join me as we bring you insights from top financial experts, share stories of successful retirement journeys, and provide practical tips to help you build and preserve your wealth. Let's embark on this adventure together as we strive towards a future where retirement isn't just a dream, but a well-planned reality.
Hey, welcome to the Retirement Planning Podcast. My name is Darrin McComas, and I'm joined by Jason Fox.
Hello, everyone.
We are episode 4. It's been a while since we recorded one of these, but we do have some new developments, some exciting news. Jason here got his Series 65 exam. You passed it, the first attempt, and now you're officially a fiduciary financial advisor.
Yes. Very exciting. I am excited about the future and everything that entails.
Well, we are very excited to have Jason as another advisor in our office and got a bright future. And just, again, it's going to allow us to serve our clients better, build our capacity, and be more efficient at the same time. We also have some really cool upcoming trainings. I'm going to be leaving next week for a Mastermind retreat that Prosperity Capital Advisors is putting on in the Bahamas. So I'll be out of the office for over a week attending that and getting some good training there and some sunshine.
Yes, poor guy has to go train in the Bahamas, right?
Considering it's about 18 degrees and snowy outside, I'm not bummed about that trip.
No, I'm a little jealous of that one. So.
And then
we're proud of you, though.
Yes,
it's actually a big honor because he was invited, and not everyone just gets invited to that. So it's quite the little acknowledgement of Darrin's hard work and how valuable he is, not just to the firm but to our clients. So
yeah, I'm super excited just to sit around in a room with other great advisors from all over the country that belong to Prosperity Capital Advisors and just learn from them, right?
Yeah,
they've been there, done it. No need to reinvent the wheel. You just kind of stand on the shoulder of giants. And that's what I love about Prosperity Capital Advisors.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the opportunity to kind of pick their brains, which then we pass that value on to you guys and make sure that you're getting the best opportunities that are out there.
Yeah. I'm excited for Jason. We're going to send him off to Bucket Plan 1.0 training, which will be in Cleveland, Ohio, towards the end of April. Bucket Plan, you can become a Bucket Plan certified advisor. It's actually a recognized designation through FINRA, one of the few that they actually recognize. Right. And we think it's just an awesome way to do financial planning. It's going to be a lot about what we talk about today's podcast. But then I'm going to go to Bucket Plan 2.0 training in March back in North Carolina and kind of go through that more advanced training. And I think you'll probably do that next year.
Right.
And again, that's what I love about Prosperity Capital Advisors. There's always trainings that we can attend because things are always evolving and changing. There's new tax laws. There's new ways of doing things. There's new rules and regulations. So staying at the forefront of those, very, very important.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got to keep evolving, keep it up to pace with what's going on and make sure that we're checking all the boxes, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, today's episode, really, we wanted to share what we believe, kind of our philosophy here at Evergreen Wealth Advisors about investing, about financial planning. And really, when it comes to investing, we want to keep our eye on that bigger picture, right? We want to zoom out, look over your lifetime, and really build lasting wealth and financial security that's going to take you through retirement. And having that plan really customized and tailored to you and your unique situation. And we don't do cookie cutter here.
Right, definitely not. And to Darrin's point, that's a 20 or 30-year window in most cases. So it really does take that zooming out and kind of looking at all of the different scenarios that pop up in retirement, whether that's, in the early years, you're wanting to be really busy and travel and do those types of things. Or in the later years, you might be, kind of taking it easy and those types of things. And so those all require a different approach. And so we're considering those from day one, but we're not, zooming in on, just what the market's doing today. We're definitely taking a slower approach and a more methodical approach than being reactive to the markets.
Absolutely. And the backbone of our planning is using that bucket plan system. And I love it because it really divides out your assets into 3 time horizons.
Right.
The now bucket, which is the money you're going to need over the next 12 months. The soon bucket, which is money you're going to need access to in the next 1 to 10 years. And then the later bucket, which is, a decade out or longer before we're going to need to access those funds. So, I love the bucket plan system because no matter what's happening in the markets or economy or governments or anywhere in the world, our approach, we have this framework we can use that help keep you on track and keep you moving towards your goals.
Yeah, 100%.
And that all we always say this, it always starts with a plan, right?
Yes.
We're not going to pick investments and do this before we have a plan in place. And again, this should be customized, tailored to you and your unique situation and life goals. And if your goals, and I think this is so important, like this is one of the foundational pieces to our philosophy. If your goals and circumstances haven't changed, your plan should not change, right? We shouldn't be reacting to the latest headline in the news.
Who's in office or, what war might be starting overseas or any of that stuff. If that doesn't change your plan, then your plan shouldn't be changing, right?
Yeah, and along with that, if your plans remain unchanged, your portfolio should remain steady too.
Absolutely.
We had some turmoil over December and into early January, and people were, I had a few clients that reached out and said, I'm not really happy with all this volatility in the stock market. And, I had a good conversation with them and just kind of, hey, let's zoom out. Let's look at the big picture here. We're going to have periods where we have some volatility and scary times out there, but that doesn't mean we have to get emotional and panic because we have that bucket plan system in place.
Right. Yeah. And certainly you're going to get times where there's uncertainty in what's going on in different arenas, whether that's political or otherwise, and that will create volatility in the markets. But that's nothing new. It's nothing new under the sun, as they say, right? Yeah. And so the markets, they might have a pullback. They might kind of bounce around. But that is the beauty of the bucket plan system, is that we have accounted for that. We know it's going to happen. It's not a matter of when, or it's just it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when, right? So that is going to happen. But the bucket plan system will protect you from that volatility, and it will enable you to come out ahead in the end.
Yeah. That's exactly right. And, I think the second most important thing is protecting your purchasing power, right? Because you put away this money while you were working. You worked 30, maybe 40 years, stashed away. You have some nice retirement assets now. And we're in that decumulation phase in retirement for most of our clients where they're pulling money out of these accounts. And the true value of money lies in its purchasing power. And with inflation being one of the greatest threats to your retirement, we have to take that into account, especially since COVID, right? We didn't really have to worry too much about inflation pre-COVID, but now after COVID, we saw a huge spike in inflation.
Right.
And once prices go up, they don't come back down to where they used to be years ago. They stay up, and it's just how much more will they accelerate or will they slow down? So how do you beat inflation? I always say this, the best way to beat inflation is to own inflation. And that's historically been through global equities.
Right. Yeah. Taking your little piece of the pie, having that later bucket out there that's going to grow with inflation and protect you from kind of any purchasing risk that is involved in the markets and involved with inflation. So we certainly account for that as well. You want to account for the dips, but you also want to account for the rises in inflation and the risk to your purchasing power.
Yep. And, those global equities, just back test them. They historically have provided some of the best long-term returns.
Right.
And a great way to protect you against inflation. Just think about how expensive things are today. Well, fast forward 10, 20, possibly 30 years down the road, how much is your money going to need to keep up with inflation? And that's, again, the bucket plan system with that later bucket strategy. That's what we're trying to accomplish.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
It was like thinking like a long-term business owner, right? You want to position yourself for that long-term and not have that, kind of short-term market speculation type mentality. You need to be in this for the long haul, understanding that you have a good plan in place and that you're going to stick to that plan, because if you don't stick to the plan, then it's not going to work, right? You have to be able to ride it out in the good times and the bad times.
Yeah. And, market declines are normal.
Right. Absolutely.
These last few years we've had some abnormal markets where they just keep going up and up and up. But historically, every few years, we have a market correction or, heaven forbid, a market crash. Go back to the last decade, from 2000 to 2010, we had two massive stock market crashes during that period.
Dot-com bubble, and of course, we all know 2008 with the mortgage crisis and all of that, right?
Yeah, and they're impossible to predict or time, but having a plan and knowing what we're going to do if that does happen, not if it's going to happen, but when it does happen,
right?
Having that plan in place before we enter that volatility sure gives you a lot more confidence, right? That your plan is built to withstand these kind of stress that the market's going to throw at us. And
right,
I tell clients all the time, it's not a matter if you're going to go through another kind of .com or '08 crisis. It's going to probably happen sometime in your lifetime, but we have a plan in place to make sure we can weather that storm and not have to change your lifestyle dramatically to do it, right?
Absolutely.
And lastly, it's really about consistency over reactivity.
Right.
And sticking to that plan. We can't say it enough in this podcast. Stick to your guns. We build a plan. Now, that doesn't mean we can't make small modifications to your plan, especially if your financial situation has changed, if there's a long-term healthcare event or a major expense that came out of nowhere, right? Then we have to obviously pivot.
Right, and that's why we're meeting with our clients, 3 or 4 times a year to review where you're at, review what's changed in your life, and make sure that we're moving those puzzle pieces as we need to. But that usually doesn't mean we're like, just throwing out the puzzle and getting a new one, and putting that all together. We're usually just moving 1 or 2 pieces to make sure that we're well positioned for success.
Yeah. So, I think we covered a lot of ground in this podcast, but really it's about having a plan, sticking to that plan. If life changes, then we'll pivot. That plan will change, obviously, but the bucket plan philosophy is the background, is the backbone of what we do.
Yes.
And having those 3 different buckets, in my opinion, is one of the best financial planning strategies you can have. The now, the soon, and the later. There's a lot of advisors out there that do bucketing. They tend to just do 2 buckets, the now and the later.
Right.
And when you go through a market crisis, that later bucket, which might be a more aggressive strategy, can really get tagged hard in a downturn like 2008.
Yeah, especially if you're further into your retirement and you're doing required minimum distributions, if you're forced to take out money when the market's down and you're at a loss, that can really hurt.
Yeah, you permanently lock in that loss in that case. So the beauty of the bucket plan philosophy that Jason Smith put together and wrote the book about really is that soon bucket. It's that middle bucket where you have a 10-year bucket of money that's invested typically more conservatively, right? It might include a fixed indexed annuity or some kind of safer money that is getting a good consistent rate of return, whether that's through bonds or CDs or things like that, or fixed indexed annuities. But you have some money that when volatility hits, that soon bucket is not going to see the major drawdowns like the later bucket might. So if we have to take a required minimum distribution or we have to pull some money out for income, we're not going to have to do it by locking in a huge permanent loss. And that's the beauty of the bucket plan system is that soon bucket strategy. And I know I sleep a lot better at night knowing my clients we're using that strategy with them. And when volatility hits, we're going to be okay.
Yes.
So I hope you learned a lot about our philosophy. And if you have any questions, obviously reach out. But I love our approach because it ensures financial security for today while preparing for the future. And we look forward to sharing more about the bucket plan system in future podcasts. But this is what we believe in. And I'm going to kind of wrap it up today. Jason, again, congratulations on getting your Series 65. We're so excited for you and what your future holds. And we will see you again soon when we're going to start cranking out more episodes, hopefully more consistently. And we have a lot to share, a lot of stuff going on in the world today. With Trump in office, wow, there is a lot of headlines.
Last 2 weeks has been pretty amazing, right?
Yep.
Certainly, that's why the markets, there's that uncertainty, not knowing what's coming down the pipeline next. So
markets tend not to they don't like uncertainty,
right?
And with all the stuff coming out of Washington D.C., expect some short-term volatility, but in the long run, I think we're going to see, our economy is going to remain strong, and the market should do okay this year. But get your popcorn out, right? It's definitely interesting times we're living in. So thank you so much for watching us today and listening to us on your favorite podcast episode. Don't forget to hit subscribe.
Yes.
So you can get updates whenever new podcasts come out.
You can always go to the website if you were looking for more information and or you want to do a free consultation with us. You can always go there as well. So come check us out, and we'd love to talk with you guys.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Retirement Planning Podcast. We hope we inspired you to make changes so you can live your best life. If you want to find out more about what we do, or if you want to have a holistic wealth and health financial plan, please visit our website. Please subscribe to the podcast and share it widely with your friends and family. Financial planning and advisory services are offered through Prosperity Capital Advisors. PCA is an SEC registered investment advisor with its principal place of business in the state of Ohio. Evergreen Wealth Advisors and PCA are separate non-affiliated entities. PCA does not provide tax or legal advice. Insurance offered through Evergreen Wealth Advisors are not affiliated with PCA. Information received from this podcast should not be viewed as individual investment advice. Product discussions and illustrations are hypothetical in nature and will vary based on many factors, including but not limited to age, health, product, insurance carrier, and product design. You should consult the insurance carrier website and policy for detailed information pertaining to the registration status of PCA. Please contact the firm or refer to the Investment Advisor Public Discourse website disclosure statement as set forth on Form ADV from PCA using the contact information herein. Please read the discourse statement carefully before you invest or send money.